Good morning, everyone. This is Gina coming to you from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, where I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm coming to you from the Hive this morning. It's a lovely Wednesday morning, and today we are going to be using the brayer. That is what today's class is all about, different ways to use the brayer, and yeah. So anyways, I hope you're all doing well. If you're hopping on, please say hello. Tell me where you're coming from. I'm going to double check that I'm where I should be. Looks like I'm here, so I think we should be good. All right. It's March already. Can you guys believe it? And it's looking like spring. Around here we've had lots of robins. I saw lots of them yesterday, and the weather's been nice, and I see the trees are budding, so hopefully spring is on its way officially. So the brayer, let's talk about it. I'm gonna flip you guys over. Here we go. How many of you have used a brayer before in some form? Good morning, Angelique. Good morning, Sandy. The brayer, it's just a rubber like roller. Cleaning this, really easy. You can put it under the sink and just rinse it off. You can take and a lot of times I just take my chamois and I just go like this. You'll find if it sits for a while, if it's sitting out, sometimes it'll collect a little dust or fibers or glitter or whatever is laying around, and I just go like this to clean it. That's all you need to do. You do want to avoid probably, using paper towel and certain like baby wipes with it, because sometimes they'll leave fibers behind, but for the most part, very easy to clean. Now, the other thing is you can remove the brayer. So you have these two, I guess we'll call these the stands. There's like two little pokey things on the ends, and that's actually a stand for you to put your brayer down. So when you put your brayer down, it's not touching any surface when you lay them down on this. So you want to make sure that when you put it down, you're putting it this way, but when you are using your brayer, you want to flip it over. Otherwise, these are going to mark up your paper, you're going to get ink on them, things like that. So this is how we use it with these up. Now you can also take, and I just push one side out, you can remove your brayer like so. And that's an easy way too. If you just want to take this and go and rinse it under the sink, you can do that too. And oh, I put it on without showing you guys, and it just goes in and in like this. So this expands a little bit. So yeah, really easy to take care of and maintain and things like that. Hello, Lynn, Hildy. It's rainy in Maine. Oh, that's too bad. You're probably getting the rain that we got the other day. I forget what night it was, Sunday night. It stormed pretty good here. We had lots of thunder and lightning, and very kind of, usually, we have a little bit of winter yet, so it's kind of unusual weather for us. Okay, so that's kind of the basics. Now, the other thing too, I'll get to that, let's see. Let me pull in my first card, and then we'll talk about inking up your brayer. So our first card is going to be this one. And so I've embossed, now you can do this both ways, depending which side you want to do. I've embossed this and then colored over the top of that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a piece of white, and I've already embossed it. And I'm just going to blend my colors. I have Bubble Bath and I have Highland Heather. I'm going to start with my lighter color first. And remember, our pokies go up. And with the brayer, you don't want to keep rolling and rolling like this and having your wheels spin. You won't get good coverage that way. And remember that this is longer than your ink pads. You can go this way, you can go this way, whatever is your preference. I do it this way because I get a little bit more coverage. And I'm just going to roll and stop, roll, stop. And I'm going to go back and forth on the pad just so that I get good, even coverage, and I'm not spinning my wheel, okay? So now I am going to go right on my surface, and I don't want to brayer this whole sheet because I'm kind of doing a little bit of a, I guess, an ombre look with this. So we're gonna go like this. Okay, and then next, then all I do is take my brayer and go back and forth on my paper, take my chamois and go like this, and that's all I do to wipe my colors off. Now I'm going to take my Highland Heather and it doesn't look like I have really, I don't know if you guys can tell, there seems to be a little bit of a glare. You can't really see the ink unless you're doing a really dark color, but there's more ink on here than you realize. So I'm gonna start towards the top because that's, looks like my ink pad probably needs to get re-inked. And then I'm just gonna work my way down to blend in my two colors. So just like that. So it almost looks like we got a little fresh freesia going on right here, Highland Heather and Bubble Bath, when you kind of mix the two colors together. Okay, so that is one look with your embossing folder. Now, if I wanted to flip it over, I could do the same thing and get a completely different look. Okay, so now I'll take my Bubble Bath again. We're gonna go over the top here, and now we will get the raised images of our flowers. And then I'll take my Highland Heather again. So there we go. So you can get two completely different looks. I'll pull in my other cards so you can see them side by side. Like so. So you get this one where it just does the detailed portion, and then when you flip it over and you have that depressed look in here, depression I should say, you get the background covered. So depends which way you want to do it. We're gonna go with this way for this card. Good morning, Jamie, all the way from Utah. Okay, so we'll put that aside, and we're going to stamp on, we use the Hello Hexagons with this set, and I'm going to stamp in Bubble Bath and Highland Heather again, and I'm going to use the outline here. Did that pretty good. I'm impressed with myself. And we'll do our sentiment in the Highland Heather. So we have that. Now the other thing we're going to do is we're going to take, we have those beautiful detailed butterflies from here, and we are going to take one out, maybe. I don't want to rip them. And we are going to use our brayer to color your butterflies. So there's multiple ways you can color your butterflies. You could use your Wink of Stella, you can use your blending brushes, you could use sponge daubers. These butterflies can be done any, wow, I really do need to ink up this pad. I must have been using it a lot. I forget what I've used. Oh, I did some painted lavender Stampa stacks, and I used a lot of Highland Heather in that. So that would explain that. Okay, so that's done. Now I cut out another label with the hexagon punch, and we're going to cut it in half, like so. And this is just kind of adding a border to our label and making basically a second label out of it, just to expand it a little bit. How many of you do this with your punches or your labels, dies? I do this a lot, especially for those that don't have a, multiple dies that can coordinate with it. Okay, so now that we have that, I'm going to take my, where is it, guys? Oh, kicking things here. White twine here. And I'm just, oh, we have a border here. So we have a border of a bubble bath here. So we're gonna adhere this onto here. Sandy, you're liking the pink and purple combo. For all you purple lovers, this is definitely a great way to show off your purple colors. Makes me think of spring. And this embossing folder is kind of different, where the flowers are, no matter which way you put it, the flowers are kind of upside down. So no, you don't have to worry too much about which way you lay your paper, because either way there's going to be a flower that is upside down. How many of you have the Brayer and have played with it at all? Or used an old Brayer in the past? This is my first experience ever working with a Brayer. I've never had a Brayer before. So I tend to get really excited about like new techniques or different type of products that come out. That's what like excites me, gets my juices flowing, I guess you could say. Oops. I'm excited here in a couple weeks we'll be able to say the new annual catalog, and as much as it's sad to see products retiring, it's also exciting to see what is coming and is new. So I look forward to that. Unfortunately, I won't be able to go to on stage, so that makes me sad, but we have robotics tournaments, so we will be at robotics, and I will have to live vicariously through the rest of the team and watch their photos and be jealous, but I'm so excited for them, especially there's many who have not gone before, and it is quite an experience. And there's so much inspiration when you're filled with that many creative people in a room. It's just, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's like you just get pumped and you get psyched, and it's really energizing to be around that group of people, and I guess people with like minds, and it's great to see how everybody kind of works, and it's just a great time. So if you've never been to a Stampin' Up! Event, try it out. It is a great time. Probably, I've been to a lot of events, and I did the 30th anniversary in Florida, and I will tell you that was the best trip of a lifetime for me. My first trip alone with no kids and no husband in a really long time. There were so many laughs and bonding. It was just an amazing experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Okay, so now we have our label, and we're gonna put our bow on. So I'm gonna make a bow with my bow maker. Sandy, you need to buy yourself a brayer. I think you do too. It's really fun. There's so many things. This is only a portion of things that you can do with a brayer that I'm showing you today. But when Chris had the last retreat in the winter, right? Yeah. I had to think of what it is. It's so nice out. I'm fooled. So the winter escape, I did a demonstration with the brayer, and like I said, there's so many possibilities that you can use with the brayer, and there's more that I've not even, discovered yet. So excited to see what people create along the way. Oh, Angelique, you don't get to go either? Yes, definitely next time. Like I said, if you ever get the opportunity, whether it's one of the local events or on stage, it's such a great opportunity, and it's a great way. So many of us team members are not always local. We're from all over. So it's a lot of times a great way to catch up with everyone. On here I see a lot of your wonderful comments, and I see your names, but I don't always get to put a face with your names. So it's really great when we can all get together and you can put faces with names and things like that. So it's just great. I can't say enough about it. Now I'm going to take a mini dimensional, and I'm actually going to cut it in half because I want to pop up my butterfly a little bit. So in the big spaces here, I am just going to put some mini dimensionals that I'm cutting in half. You could also use the edge of your dimensional sheet and cut just some tiny little strips too. And one other thing I will mention, I'm not sure if this is a different type of paper that they used for these butterflies, but if you use your Wink of Stella on them, I find that it gives you a watercolor look. It doesn't color it like it would on cardstock. So just be aware that when you're coloring your butterfly and you've applied ink to it, that ink is going to move around. It's not going to stay put like it would cardstock. So just be aware of that when you are doing your butterflies and coloring them. So there we go. I think we need a little bit of sparkle. Sandy, you're getting ready to place an order. You might, yeah, just add that to your cart. You don't want to might add it to your cart. I think you should add it to your cart. So we're just going to place a few diamonds right there on our butterfly. And then we have our inside of our card. Oops. I don't know what I want on the inside of this card, but we'll just add, there's this cute little squiggly here. We'll put him in the corners, or her in the corners, whatever. Or no, I'll do these flowers. There's flowers here. And we'll do them in bubble bath, I think. Anyone working on anything? Anyone have any projects that they have going? What is everyone working on? I am currently, I think I'm going to go home today and work on the March classes. I need to finish that up. We have the scrapbook class and we have the morning create, which is both live, you know, in person and live on YouTube. So I have those two classes to create yet. For those of you who maybe didn't watch the last live, I did cancel. I was going to do a sampler this Sunday, but with the move, and we've got a lot coming on or coming up with weekend competitions for my kids in robotics and things like that, that I just need to be at home and working, and I'm hopefully going to get my office together. So, oh, Angelique, you're working on your retro swaps. That's exciting. What retro set are you using? So anyways, I think this weekend, because I can't find anything, I need to get my office set up. So I'm hopefully going to get my office set up this weekend. So here is our first card. Makes you think of spring, right? Okay, so on to our next card. Our next card is not in this bin. All right, let's check this bin. Okay, we're going to be using the hot air balloons and Saran wrap. Now, I can't find my Saran wrap, of course. I'm not quite sure where that is. So I brought press and seal. So we're gonna see how that works out. And see if that works the same. I assume it would work very similar to the Saran wrap, so we'll see how it goes. So what we're gonna do is take a piece of our white and take a piece of press and seal, and I'm actually going to remove this from the brayer just to put the press and seal on. And when I put the Saran wrap on, I actually kind of did this. I kind of balled it up a little bit and pulled it out so that it would get the little kinks in it. Obviously, press and seal works a little bit different, so you're gonna have, you can't really do that. I mean, you can, but you gotta pull it apart and stuff. So we're just gonna do it like this. And I want all the wrinkles in there. Okay, now the nice thing about press and seal is it will stick. Where your Saran wrap will actually lift up. So you got to make sure you put it on your roller the way, kind of in the direction that it goes. So here is, this piece goes up so that when I put this on in the ink pad, it won't come off, okay? Did everyone understand that? I know that's kind of, and I put it on, nope, I put it on the right way. Okay, so now we're going to take our lemon lolly and ink it up. And we're just going to go, oh, I better make sure I'm in the camera, huh, guys? We're gonna take and we're just gonna do, so here's one swipe. There we go. Can you guys see that okay? And then you can go back over it again if you would like. So I just went back and forth a couple times. And once again, I just wipe it off like so. I'm gonna peel my press and seal off. So this is a great way to use things you have around the house too. I mean, most of us have, oops, most of us have like press and seal or saran wrap or things like that. And then just clean it off again. Now, the other thing is we have this lovely embossing folder. It has words on it. Thank you, hello, celebrate, love you, multiple different sayings. So I ran that through, and it also has dies with it. So I ran it through the embossing folder and die cut it out. Okay, so there's two ways you can do this. Today we're just coloring over the top, but you can also, if you want to, you can get two different looks. And I was gonna bring my sample along, but I forgot. So what you can do is take, there's a raised image on this side, so on the Stampin' Up side where it has the little logo, you can ink this up and you will get, oh, hold on one second. I do have a sample. Never mind, it's in my car. But you'll get the outline of the word. But this way we're gonna get the full word. So you can get two different looks with this folder. So now I have Pool Party, and we're gonna ink it up. Okay, and we're just gonna go over the top of our words. And now you see how the word celebrate is coming alive, basically. And you don't need to press hard. Sometimes I go in different directions because sometimes you get a little bit of a kink or something from the paper wrinkling as it's run through the embossing machine. But there we go, that's all you do. So you could do this on a stamp. You could take any stamp, ink up your brayer, and go over the top of a stamp if you want to do multiple colors. Like I could do one side in pink and one side in purple by using the brayer. That's another option for you also. Okay, so we got a couple techniques with this card. So now we're going to bring in our pieces here. So we have Pool Party as our base, and I have a piece of fresh freesia that's going to go on the top of this. But first I'm going to put a piece of DSP. So I believe this is only just a 2-inch. And I could have cut my fresh freesia, you know, and saved paper and only used a portion of it. But sometimes I think it's easier if you have a piece of paper just to line everything up. So I like to do that. Okay, so now we have that. We're also going to put a piece of the white herringbone ribbon. I'd wrap that around before we put this. Sandy, you're sending me an email shortly. Okay, so I'll look for it. Does anyone have any questions about the brayer? Is there something you would like to know about the brayer? I don't know that there's been a whole lot of education out there. I guess I haven't seen it. I've just kind of experimented and played. But I know a brayer's been around for a long time. A lot of companies have had them. Stampin' Up! Actually had one that was a little bit different. There was actually like a plastic bar that was above this back before I started stamping. So Like I said, the brayer was all new to me, but it was so much fun to play with it. So now I'm going to adhere this to my card base. Okay, and now we have a piece of Pool Party, and we're going to take that piece that we use the press and seal on and adhere that to the Pool Party. Okay, and of course we got to pop it up, right guys? And remember to never waste your dimensionals. Always use your edges here. I know some people feel like, oh, that's wasted, you can't use that, but oh yes you can. Just take your scissors, go around, don't cut your finger like I almost just did. You think I would know better, being that I cut hair for a living, not to cut my fingers, but you know what happens. Okay, we'll put that on, and then we're going to put our hot air balloons on. So I'm going to, and I cut these out of the hot air balloon DSP. This is probably one of my, I don't know, favorite sets. This is one I did a display with for the retreat in January. I guess I love color. I love mixing colors. I like bold. I usually am not a pastel person. I like bold colors, but I don't know, I think that it appeals to me having all these colors together like this. Now, another way to put on these detailed dies, remember we have adhesive sheets, and when you die cut, you can run it through with your cardstock, and this can become a sticker sheet. So that is a great way so that you don't get your fingers all sticky like I just did. Okay, so now we have our 2 balloons ready. I'll adhere my first balloon. Like that, and then we'll pop this one up. Jamie, you can wrap rubber bands around the brayer in random patterns. Definitely, we will be doing that actually in a few moments. One of the cards that I did is using that technique too. So like I said, it's a great way to take things that you already have in your home and make use of them. Oops, I think I need to move this over just a little bit. There we go. Pop this up, and then we're going to add our little baskets. I have glue all over my fingers and everything is sticking to me. Oops. Pull in my mini dimensionals. We'll pop up this little guy. Angelique, you're using the Layered with Kindness stamp set with the Label Me Lovely punch. Oh, fun. That's not too old of a set, but Probably one of my favorite go-tos of old sets. I don't know, this kind of was out when I started. So I started stamping with Chris about 2014, 2015, and they had a number set back then, and they were nice size letters. I would say they were probably 2 inches or so, and they had kind of a watercolor look to them, and I just loved them. And then they had some cute little flowers with them, and like I said, that was probably one of my favorite sets. And then they had an alphabet set that coordinated with it, so that is probably one of my favorite oldies but goodies. And I'm sure I'm going to find a whole lot more as I unpack all of my stuff, because there were a lot of boxes, I'll admit it. It's so hard to get rid of some of that stuff. Okay, so now we're adding our Celebrate to the bottom here. And there we go. And then we have our inside. So I have a strip of DSP from that strip that I cut. So I'm going to adhere that to the bottom, and we are going to stamp Hip Hip Hooray, It's Your Birthday. Anyone have anything coming up for the weekend? Anything exciting? Like I said, hopefully my husband and 2 younger children will be at robotics, because we have competition the following weekend. So they'll be at robotics, and I'm hoping to bribe my older son to help me paint my office. So that is my plan, because I need to get it together, because I have stuff everywhere, and I'm so sad. The Perennial Lavender set had some really tiny butterfly dies in them, and they are MIA. I cannot find them. This looks a little bit crooked. I think I'm going to restamp it. So I'm sad I can't find those butterflies, and I'm hoping once I clear out the dining room, because that's kind of where I've set up my office right now, is in the dining room, that it will just appear, unless I vacuumed them up the other day. We checked all the trashes and things like that, so we have not found it. So I don't know. I'm sad. Nothing is more sad when you lose things and you can't find them. And so sometimes you get some curled edges when you cut. So I just take my bone folder and put them along, rub it along the edges there, and that tends to smooth it out. I think I'm going to need a new glue refill pretty soon. So yeah, this is also another great way to use up scraps, by putting it along the edge of your inside. Okay, there we go, card number 2. So press and seal or Saran wrap, whichever you have at home, works great. And remember, our brayer can go right over the letters here. Okay, so that card is done. Let's see, I think the next one's going to be the rubber bands. That's the one on top here. So right, clean up my mess a little bit so we have room to stamp, right? Okay. So here's our next card. And this card, it actually mimics the DSP that I chose to go with it. So here is what it looks like using rubber bands. So we made a cute little Z fold here. So we're gonna take our white piece. We have a smaller white piece. And I am going to find my rubber bands. And take my brayer off again. Remember, we just pull that out. And we're gonna take let's see, I had another one here. I wonder where I put it right here. I'm gonna spread these out on my brayer, and I just went around twice. You can go around as many times as you would like. And you can, you'll get different looks depending how fat your rubber bands are or how skinny they are. You'll get different looks, so experiment. So this is it. We have 3 rubber bands on here. And we're gonna bring in our smoky slate. Run this through our ink pad. And we're just gonna go along like so. So I went over it several times, so you'll get, you know, a darker gray, a lighter gray. And I think this is just super cool how, and you could take multiple colors if you wanted. You could do, you know, one way in one color, and then take another color and go the opposite way too. So that's all we did for that piece. Just inked up rubber bands. How fun is that? Good morning, Mary. You're from Minnesota. This is when I usually go live. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning. I think, are we on the same time, Central Time? Or at least I try to. Over the last, oh gosh, probably since January, it's kind of been all over the place between canceling and rescheduling, and with the move and stuff, I had a lot on my plate. So, and once you rinse these rubber bands off, you can just keep these as your brayering rubber bands if you want. So anyways, yeah, I had to cancel classes, reschedule, then I was sick, and with the move and stuff, things haven't been very regular, but most of the time I'm on at 10. When I do my morning create, that's usually, I think it's about the last Monday of the month. I come on online at 9 because I will be doing in person at 11. So, but usually 10 o'clock, you can catch me. Okay, so now we have our piece of DSP that we created. So this is just taking your white paper and making your own DSP. And you can do this in any color you would like. So now I'm going to bring in, and we're gonna ink up our inside of our card. And we have your rock star on the outside. So we're gonna have a rock and roll birthday on the inside. Anyone do anything for spring break? Or spring, going on vacation anywhere? Anyone? I'm living vicariously through all of you. I probably won't be doing any vacationing this year because of the new house. So there we go. I love the font here. It's kind of got a little bit of a distressed look. So our vacation will probably be our backyard. We actually have a nice in-ground pool with our new home. So hopefully we'll be having some nice pool parties this summer. And then there's these little like lightning, they're not really lightning, but rock and roll, you know, emblems here. So we ink them up. I use Daffodil Delight. Linda, you're coming in late, but you love the rubber bands. Like I said, it's super easy, and it's a great way to just make your own DSP. And the other thing you can do, I don't have that other card here, but I did it in a different color, and I actually embossed this piece over the top. I used the painted texture embossing folder, and it really does look like DSP to me. So, and you get, basically we recreated this look of the DSP by using rubber bands. So really cool effect. And like always, we try to save paper, right? So I die cut my sentiment out of the middle because we're gonna cover that up with this white piece. Okay, and that's the inside of our card. Now I have a traditional card base, and it's scored at a 4 1/4 and 2 1/8. So we're making just a little Z fold here, like so. So now we can adhere this to the inside of our card. Kind of getting off screen, sorry guys. Okay, and then we need another piece of poppy and our strip of DSP. Sandy, no vacations anytime soon? Me either. Any of you looking forward to gardening? Anyone garden here? Whether it's flowers or vegetables, does anyone? Uh-oh. I didn't cut my DSP correctly, guys. Or my poppy wasn't cut correctly. One of the two. It was my poppy that wasn't cut correctly. All right, well, we're gonna make do. And we're just gonna adhere the piece of DSP. Mistakes happen, we move on, right? Doesn't pop as much without the red, but that's okay. Okay, then we have a piece of black, and we're gonna put our rubber band piece over the top. And we're only gonna put dimensionals on half of it. Jamie, you go camping. You got a new camper. That is very exciting. I used to camp a lot as a child. We had a motor home, and probably some of my favorite memories are camping with my cousins. And I had an aunt who, so the adults stayed in the camper, and us kids always got put in a tent together. And she'd always come and tell us bedtime stories. You know, the favorite stories of when I was growing up. We walked uphill and downhill and, you know, 50 feet of snow. We could touch the power lines, and we'd all say, "You're lying," you know, and then she'd giggle and she'd tell us more stories like that as a kid. So those are probably some of my favorite moments. She was so funny. She unfortunately passed away about 10 years ago from cancer, and yeah, the stories she would tell us, and then we'd all be moaning and groaning, "Get out, leave us alone." So I miss those days. Those were fun days. So you're creating great memories with friends and family by doing that. So have a wonderful time. Oh, you're traveling with your husband's band. He plays bagpipes. How cool is that? That is awesome. Wow, that's cool. How'd he get into bagpipes? Sandy, you're on dialysis. That's no fun. I have a few clients that are on that, and it can be very limiting on the things that you can do sometimes. So I'm sorry to hear that, but you can keep on stamping. That's always like a vacation. I get in my own little bubble sometimes, and you know, kind of forget what I'm really supposed to be doing, like maybe cleaning the house or the laundry or, you know, any of those things. But I would much rather be stamping, especially with all of you. So we stamped the guitar out of the rock and roll set, and I popped him up, and then we're going to pop up our saying, "You're a rock star." And then we have these really cute embellishments with the little, I call them lightning. Are they really lightning? I'm not sure. And stars. So we're going to add those to our layout also. Oops, he left the adhesive on the sheet. There we go. Card number 3. So we've done rubber bands, we've done Saran, we've done it over a piece of embossed paper and got kind of a, you know, an ombre look to it. So Jamie, he has Scottish ancestry and just decided that one day he wanted to play. He hooked up with a local competition band and practiced with them for a few years. Oh my gosh, how cool. So does he wear a kilt and all that? Like, where does he perform? Does he do like, is he on a stage? Does he do like parades and stuff? Like, where does he do that? I like to listen to bagpipes. I think it's pretty cool. You know, I think of, you know, they're just using a bag and manipulating and blowing air and things like that. And it's pretty impressive how they work that. So that's really cool. So anyway, so card number 3 is done. Okay, on to our final card. I'm going to make a little bit of a mess here. How many of you have the glass mat? I love the glass mat. It's such a great surface to work on. You can also use your silicone mat if you would like to also for this. So for this card, we are going to do brayering, and we're going to ink up our glass mat here, and then we're going to put a piece of DSP over the top and mesh it in. So yeah, it's fun. Like, you can watercolor on this, you can take and ink this up. I'm actually just gonna wipe it down a little bit just because if there's any dust or anything. And the great thing about this, cleanup is super easy with this. You just go take your chamois and rub it across the top, or baby wipe, water, whatever. This glass mat is so nice. Anyone heard when it is supposed to be available yet? I guess I have not seen an update on that. It was supposed to be, we could pre-order it back in December, and then they took it off, and it was only available to those who signed up during sale-a-bration as new demonstrators. But they did say that they would be bringing it back in stock for demonstrators to order, but I have not heard a date on that, and maybe that will be with the catalog launch. I'm not sure. So the two colors I'm using today are Parakeet Party and Tahitian Tide, and I'm so sad that these are going to be retiring. These are my type of colors. I like bright, bold colors. So, and Sweet Sorbet, they're probably like my three favorite colors right now, beyond Lemon Lolly. I really love Lemon Lolly. So, all we're gonna do is we're gonna open up our ink pads, and I am going to ink up the glass mat here. This is probably another ink pad I needed to ink up. And then I'm going to leave a little bit of space here, and I'm going to bring in my Parakeet Party. Okay, so we have a little bit of space here. And when we use our brayer now, we're going to blend those two colors a little bit. Okay. So this is from the Rock and Roll paper. Remember, that has all the different black and white papers. So there are two different patterns here, and we're using both patterns actually for this card. This is kind of like a crackled, or like if you took acrylic paint on a canvas and just kind of spread it around and did something like that. Really cool. So now I'm going to take my brayer. I laid my two colors down, and I inked it up pretty well because your brayer is going to pick up color. And all I'm doing is gonna go, now you have to be careful. You don't want to like push hard. You're just doing this gently, and you're gonna go back and forth. Because of the glass, it will slide. So you just gently go back and forth like so. And you blend in your two colors. Like so. Put that in my, and I'm just going to take my DSP. I'm having a hard time talking today, guys. I'd be a little bit worried. And you want to hold it down really, really well. Actually, I should probably bring in a paper towel so I don't end up with inky fingers. Now you can do this same exact thing on a silicone mat. Actually, sometimes the silicone mat works even better because there's a little bit of cushion, so it can really absorb those colors. Ta-da! I think I need to do more inking. I believe my ink pads are not inked up very well, so I probably need to take some time and just ink up my pads. So I'm going to do it again, just bring in my colors. And go back and forth like this. Kind of blend them in. And make sure when you lay your sheet down, you lay your colors over in the same spot. Got a little fruit fly or something in here. Okay, so now I have even more color. And I'm just gonna keep doing this. This one is not getting as intense. I wonder if she has her silicone mat around here somewhere. So I'm just gonna, maybe it's just that my ink pads are needing inking. Okay, there we go. We got a little more color going on. I'm actually going to take my brayer and just go over the top ones. I want it to be a little more intense, and for whatever reason, it's not doing that for me today. So like I said, I think it's just that my ink pads are a little on the dull side. Okay, so you can color DSP, okay? So you guys get the gist of this one. Like I said, you could do the exact same thing on a silicone mat, and I feel like you do get a little bit more intense color, but the glass mat works great too when you have an ink pad that is not need refilling, okay guys? So that is all I do to clean up the glass mat. It's great. Okay, so here's the original one I did, and I used the glass mat for it, and it turned out much more intense. So like I said, I think it's just because my ink pads aren't too juicy here. Okay, so then we're also going to bring in Thank You. And we are going to use our Parakeet Party and go over the top of it. Anyone have any questions about the techniques that we've done today? Okay, so now we have our thank you. And this is just a very simple card. So we have, once again, I punched out of the center here. We're going to take our DSP that we just colored. Adhere that to our piece of black. Okay, and then we're using the other side, and I have a strip. You can see I used a different color combination. I think this was Mint Macaron and Flirty Flamingo. I got kind of a watermelon-y look with that one. Okay, we place that in the center, and then I have our twine, color twine. If you guys haven't gotten this, I would get it. Any of your retiree colors, which are these 5 colors, if you want cardstock ink refills, I would get them now, because many a times as a catalog is changing over a lot of times this time of year, already you start to see those colors go away because people are stocking up. So get them before they're gone. So Jamie, you had mentioned he just plays at different festivals and competitions. That is really cool. So do you go all over the state? Are you all over the US? What does he do with those competitions? Melanie, thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. Now, last month I had a moving sale for anyone who placed a $50 order or more. During sale-a-bration, you had the, well, during, I should say, that one wasn't the moving sale. Those who placed an order of $50 or more received a free gift. But then I also ran a promotion very much like what Christine does. And for anyone who placed an order of $50 or more, you got entered into a drawing. And that drawing, the lucky winner was Christina Heiser. So congratulations, Christina. She gets a $25 shopping spree, so she can use that however she would like. Who doesn't love prizes, right, guys? I know I do. So we're putting this on our piece of Tahitian Tide. We're going to pop up our label. He does it mostly in Utah. He's going to Canada in May and California in October. Wow, that's really cool. That's called Salt Lake Scots. Very cool. So we're going to put our label in the center here and make sure you put it on not crooked like I just did. Okay, then we have our thank you, and we will pop that up and put that on the center. I kind of have my own little band in my house. My husband played bass guitar. He plays a lot of different instruments, but bass guitar was his favorite. And then all of my children are very musical. My oldest, he played the bari sax, and he played the cello. My daughter is in choir, and she plays the violin, and my youngest guy plays the tenor sax. So there's always music in my house. We actually just had solo ensemble last weekend for my daughter, and she did really well. We were happy with it. She wasn't happy with it, but we thought she did well. She had a hard time with the technique in an orchestra piece that she was playing, and she actually broke down kind of before her first performance of the day, and she got through it, but not as well as she would have liked to. So we had some tears, and we had to wipe them away and say, it's okay, you know, this is just a good practice for you. And but her rest of her performances, she did very well the rest of the day. So she must have just had the jitters, and but got past it and did well. And in a couple of weeks, my little guy will have his solo ensemble. So lots of music in our home. Okay, so I just made a double bow here, and then I'm going to bring in our stars again. And I'm just going to place a few stars on here. Oops, this one didn't have adhesive on it either. Sometimes you have to, especially with these thicker gems, have to kind of just push them down a little bit, and then they seem to come up a little bit better that way and keep the adhesive on. there we go. So here are, pull my mess out of here, our 4 cards that we did today. And each one using the brayer in a different way. And like I said, there are so many different ways that you can use a brayer that I've not even touched on today. So check it out, Google, do some Pinterest work. Like I said, this was with rubber bands, this was with press and seal saran wrap. Depending which side, you can emboss something and then ink over the top of it. This is just using your glass mat. Like I said, you can always use your silicone mat also if you don't have the glass mat. So lots of fun techniques. I hope you guys get inspired. Don't forget, the best way to find out information from me is you guys can always email me at ginalbulo@gmail.com. The place that I probably keep most updated is my Facebook page. So make sure you guys go and follow my Facebook page. It's Glitter and Ink with Gina. Eventually down the road, I will be, you know, on my own. I did create my own YouTube channel. We just, was it last weekend already? Last weekend we got together and we kind of had a business retreat, and there was about 5 of us here, and we all had different things that we wanted to accomplish and work on. And so I worked on setting that up, but it looks like I must have to post a video on there first before anyone can see the channel. So that is my next mission. I might do just a short little hello and have my daughter videotape, because I don't have quite the setup to do all of it yet. But so that's my next goal. So eventually, hopefully once I get settled in the house, I'm hoping maybe by end of summer, I'd like to eventually kind of move over to my platform, and hopefully then it'll be easier for me to bring you videos, because I don't have to coordinate schedules with Christine, because she's pretty busy here in the hive. So I'd like to offer you guys more. So yeah, so that's kind of what's happening. Look for, I have the scrapbook page coming up and the morning create at the end of the month. I believe, I don't know the dates, so I won't even say them, but they're towards the end of the month here. And both classes are online. The morning create is also in person. So anyways, if you guys have any questions about any of the techniques I did, or even if you guys have your own technique that you used, reach out and I will definitely demonstrate that, or do another video with more techniques if you guys would like to see more. I'd also like to know, like, what do you guys want to see for classes? Is there a technique out there, or if there's something out there you guys would like to learn? I'm always open to hearing what kind of things you guys want to learn. Sometimes I get caught up in, I get kind of stuck, you know, as what is exciting and what's new, and kind of looking for ideas. Sometimes we forget about old techniques that have been around a long time, but maybe we haven't used them in a while, and it's like, oh yeah, I haven't done that in a while. So that's always great too. So anyways, thank you for joining me today. I hope this inspired all of you to want to go home and order the brayer. I know your husbands might not be too happy with me. One more thing you have to have, right? But so thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Those of you who ordered kits, I hope to get kits all mailed out, and I think I will finally be all caught up for the month of February, and I will be on track now for the month of March. So very excited there to not be behind on things. So I think I'm finally caught up. So anyways, thank you guys. I hope you have